Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Boss Bay Blog Podcast. I'm your host, KeTohn, and you are joining us for our 27th season. Today, we are talking about something that I feel like is really close to the heart, but extremely important for us as entrepreneurs, dreamers, doers, mothers, fathers. And the question that I'm asking these lovely women today is, what advice do you have for women or men to have better dating experiences in relationships? And the reason why I'm asking this question is because I do feel like we underestimate just how powerful a great partner is in our lives. Sometimes it affects us in ways that are silent, and then it just kind of creeps up on you to the point where you're in a space that you never imagined yourself to be because of the mental, emotional, trauma, tolls, tiring days that you go through in these relationships. And it's not always easy to assess in the beginning. So I just wanted us to be able to give some wisdom to anyone out there, and also for any of our ladies, gentlemen that are having a rough dating experience and you're losing hope, hopefully this will give you like a little bit of a boost. So today we have two wonderful business owners who happen to be verified in our directory. We have Raven joining us from Raven Writes DFW. We have Kyliah joining us from Bella Bee-Tique. So let's take it away. I think we should start off by just sharing maybe about two or three of our own tips that we have, and then we'll move to each lady so that way we can give each person a good, fair enough chance to get it out. So I am going to start with just two, and then I'm going to pass it on over to Raven. Um, the first tip that I'm giving when it comes to having more enriching dating experiences and relationships is to always have a backup. And what I mean by that is you being your backup. Expect that sometimes people are not going to be able to actually uphold the standards that they've presented to you, because in many cases, people do a lot of talking to make things sound good. But then when you actually experience being with them, you realize that they're unable to measure up. So it's always best that when you go into a relationship, you're not relying on this person for anything to the point where if they were to leave tomorrow, you would have nothing. That doesn't mean that you can't go in happy and have faith that things are going to work out. I highly recommend having a positive attitude, because if there's anything that bothers me in relationships is when a person commits to something and then they have this dusty attitude as if they didn't sign up for it themselves. I can't stand that. So I'm not saying come in there with a cloud over your head or on your shoulders, but what I am saying is do not bet everything on this one person, because that's, number one, a lot of responsibility to put on another person. But number two, it's almost inevitable that people are going to make mistakes, and people aren't going to make the best decision every single time in every single instance. So to expect that people are going to stick to what they said they're going to do, even though you have no background experience with this person, it's kind of like setting yourself up for a rocky road. And it can be very stressful getting out of that. And then you have a level of resentment for them, but also maybe for yourself, because you're angry that you trusted the words that came out of their mouth. So always have a backup plan, as in yourself, not necessarily who the next person is going to be, but what am I going to do if this doesn't work out? Am I going to be able to continue pursuing whatever it is I'm pursuing? Or am I going to have to drop everything that I'm doing and change my entire life because I based it off of if this person was going to show up? And the last thing I will say with this is dedicated to the people that I have encountered in my life. There's been many moments where in a dating experience, even though we didn't get to a place where we were like exclusive, we spent time talking and getting to know each other. And in the beginning, I used to feel so irritated by the fact that people will just say anything. Like, they just say anything, whatever sounds good. I want to marry you, girl. And then in your mind, if you really rely on that, you go pack up your bags and get all ready, and he's gonna marry me. And then the next day, I just feel like I don't know what I want. Okay. So forget everything else that I just did. So, those kind of experiences can really have you going crazy. So just don't even rely on it. Let people talk and say, all right, and be graceful and allow them to express themselves. And when their actions truly align with it, then you take one step forward. But you never let go of everything that you have simply because someone is saying something or because things appear to be good. That is my first tip, or piece of advice. So, Raven, what's your take? What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with that point as well. It's best to let people show you who they are and then kind of make your judgment from there. But I would say my 2 points would probably be become comfortable with rejection. Like, uh, don't take it too hard or too personal if you turn out to not be somebody's type, or the person you're seeing decides that you're not the one for them. Just welcome it and then move on, or kind of just know that it's not always all on you, that it might be something else with the other person that's kind of personal. And my second point would be, don't be flexible with your boundaries or standards. And if somebody tries to get you to kind of adjust or lower your standards for them, don't don't feel pressure to do that, because they might not be the match for you.
Very much true. I just forgot I had that solo cup. I was like, girl, you over here sipping on a solo cup on this podcast. Hold up. Let me grab my tea mug. But I
That's
agree with
hilarious.
you. I think that you do have to get comfortable with rejection. And like you said, not taking it personally. And it might not have anything to do with you directly. It might strictly be something to do with that other person. I say I forward that and even say embrace it when they tell you that.
Yeah.
Because I've had a few times where sometimes people genuinely mean it and they really just don't know what they want and they don't want to drag you along. And
Mhm.
sometimes they just don't know what they want, but they know it's not you at that time. They don't want to be in that
Hmm.
relationship. But sometimes people play games, and I've seen and experienced almost all of them. I had a time where somebody sat down with me and was like, after months of telling me they wanted to be with me and have children, and they can't wait to imagine what our kids are going to look like running across the grass and pitter pattering on the lawn, to turn around and say, I think we should just be friends.
Ooh,
Mm,
not friends.
mm,
Yeah, and
Mm.
I think that this came from an insecurity because they were making assumptions about my perspective on the relationship instead of
Mhm.
just directly saying, "Hey, here are my concerns and here's what I want to know. I want to get your feedback on this." That's it. That's all you needed to do, because we would have solved that in one conversation. But we didn't do that. We went the route of I want to be friends. And instead I said, "Okay, sounds good." And he just sat there and was like, "That's it? You don't have anything to say? You usually have something." I said, "No, I think that's a good idea. If you think we should be friends and buddy old pal, that's where we'll
Yeah,
be."
yeah.
yeah.
So I put it there. And after that,
Give
he
them the
just,
Uno reverse.
yeah, just okay, thanks. I appreciate your
Hmm.
honesty. Thank you very much. And sometimes people show you what their true intentions were. I had a time when someone said something like that, and then they proceeded to ask me if I had any questions, like this was a webinar. Get out of my face. So when these kind of things occur, just embrace them and don't take it personal, because, like you said, it could very much have everything to do with them. The last person that I think said that, I said, "Okay, it's your loss. Now you don't have to say that."
Yeah.
Y'all, I might be a little spicy, just a little bit today. But it really was their loss. And I really didn't feel like I needed to be. Was I irritated? Absolutely. People always get a little irritated in sometimes in those moments, but you don't feel like you have to overcompensate or try to force anything that doesn't need to be forced. If a person wants to show up in a certain way in your life and you allow them to, they're going to do everything they can to show up the way that you deserve. So I'm with you on that one. What about you, Kyliah?
I would say one tip is consistency. Seeing
Mm.
how consistent someone is with you, how they share their time with you, how they communicate with you, how they truly just show up for you. Sometimes people start off very consistent, and then time they start to slow down, or things start to be a little hazy, and now you're wondering what's going on. There's no
Yeah.
clarity. There's more chaos now. You're wondering like what's happening. And no, I agree. It's not you that something has to be wrong. It can be with the other person, but consistency shows a lot of how somebody really does feel about you, which would then lead to the mutual respect part and that mutual interest, because sometimes we can like somebody a little bit more than they like us, or vice versa, and you want to pay attention to that because you don't want to waste somebody's time.
And sometimes people, you can like somebody and they don't like you at all. I'm gonna,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna put a little unpopular opinion out there. If a person is dragging you through the mud with trying to decide on whether or not they want to be with you, or if they like you, or if the sky is clear or blue, they hate you. Nah, that might be a bit strong, but I'm just saying any person that I've liked and cared about in my life, I have made it very clear to them how I feel
Mhm.
about what I like and don't like and what I'm able to do and what I'm not. My
Mhm.
friends, my peers, my clients, hey, I'm able to do this. Hey, I can't do that. Hey, this is the price for that because I respect you and I care about your time. I care about our relationship and I don't want to be dragging you along in something that I already know I'm not with this in any area of my life. Because if I did, that means I really don't care about dragging you along in that process. And why don't I care? Either because I don't have respect for my own time and my own self, or because I genuinely don't like you and I just want to watch you drag a little bit because there's something about you that just makes me feel like I need to add a little sprinkle of misery to your life because you're just a little too darn happy. Some people are like that. And unfortunately, we do not see it. And unfortunately, sometimes they don't even see it within themselves. But
Mhm.
Yeah.
if you can't clearly be honest with a person, even when it feels uncomfortable, you might not like that person at all. Because
Yeah.
think about the people that you've respected in your life. Even
Mhm.
on days, think about your family. Think about those hard relationships or arguments that you've had with a person, like a heated argument, right? You took the energy and time to have that conversation with them, even though it got heated, even though you guys did not agree with it, because you guys still love each other and it's clear you
Mhm.
love each other. But when you don't care for a person or care about them, or you secretly are jealous of them, you're not necessarily going to do all that. I'll let you string along because I just want to feel important and I want to have your attention and I want drama. I might like you a little bit, but I like the drama more than I like anything else. Some people out here really thrive off the drama. So they want you to
Mhm.
feel there's like really a weird thing going on right now. And I haven't diagnosed it because I'm not a doctor, but where people will sign up for something or insert themselves in your space, in your area to turn around and act like you were the one that pushed them to do it. That's not how this happened here. I was minding my own business and you came over here, hey, good looking. So let's not act like I'm just crazy. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. That's not how this happened. But, we'll leave that part alone. Um, let's see. I did have a few others, and if you ladies think of anything that pops off the top of your head, feel free to share it. One was expect. Now, you might feel this way. I'm just gonna say it. Expect to attract garbage even when you're not garbage. And I say this because it really makes my backside itch when people say stuff like, you are what you attract. So if you are this, then you're going to attract that. No, if you are the sugar honey iced tea, guess what? Everybody wants a taste, whether they are worthy or not. So you're
Mhm.
going to get people who are amazing attracted to you, and you're going to get people who are not. Now, is there some truth in the concept of you are what you attract? To an extent, absolutely. You do attract sometimes what you are. But there's also another layer to it where you may be amazing, wonderful, loving, outstanding, and you will still attract garbage. You will still attract the flies, the fleas, the dust mites, the parasites, the moochers. They're coming. They're coming for us all.
Mhm.
So I need you to not think that because someone who was dusty placed themselves in your space and pretended like they weren't dusty, they, dusted themselves off for one day. And then when they got you comfortable, they were like, surprise. Just because that happens, that does not mean that you are not a quality person. That does not mean that you did something to them or you did something to yourself. Yes, there are moments where we self sabotage. Yes, there are moments where we might miss a red flag or we might ignore it or we might give someone the benefit of the doubt, right? But giving someone the benefit of the doubt one time or two times or saying, hey, this could be that, that's kind of normal human behavior. Like someone does something that you don't like, you address it. You say, hey, I'm not sure if I like this. Let's try to work through this. You try to work through problems because we're not perfect. And sometimes people are not intentional with their flaws and how
Mhm.
they affect you. So when you bring self awareness and you have a healthy, mature relationship, you guys can talk through that and work through that. However, the people who pretend to be something that they're not, you will attract many of those. And it will not be your fault that they're attracted to you. You're an amazing person. People want to be around you. You're loving. I want to be around you. So even if I know I can't give you what you deserve and I know I'm not on your level, guess what? I'm going to pretend for as long as I can that I'm on your level. And I'm going to say all the things that I think you might like. And I'm going to even do things that you might like or push a little further just long enough until I've got you comfortable to where you feel like you can't go anywhere else. That's the concept that people have in their head sometimes. So yes, you will attract the flies even when you are the ish. Okay. You know what I'm saying by that though. I'm not saying like the literal ish. I mean like the sugar honey tea. So that is one. Another one is stop letting miserable people influence how you navigate your relationship. Um, it doesn't always mean the relationship is going to work out. It doesn't always mean that you're going to stay with that person. But let's not make our lives any more complicated by letting someone else live vicariously through us. Let's not do that. Because there are some people out here who are unhealed and they have experienced their own level of trauma. And sometimes they are projecting and are not aware of that. And sometimes they are aware of it and they just like the thrill of seeing you make the decisions that they didn't have the guts to make for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And there's still a little bit of guilt behind that. We still need to be aware about that. I had a time when I had a person that I thought was my friend at the time. I don't know. I'm not gonna say they were, they weren't. I'm just gonna say I didn't feel the love after this. But this person kept making statements and little comments like, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. I wouldn't do it. Girl, I don't know. I don't know how you put yourself through it. I don't know how you deal with him. I don't know how you. And I just kept thinking to myself, you should know how, because the stuff you done told me you done, baby. I'm not gonna say I would never, because I'm not trying to compare myself to you, but I'm saying you're not the person that I'm gonna be taking this master class on. So why is it so important for you to keep trying to say that to me? And then she would make little hints and be like, well, sometimes you just gotta, and I'm thinking, have you? Sometimes you just gotta what? Let go? Have you let go? No, you haven't let go. You're still there. So why are you so like eager, just trying to bite at it? Now, sometimes your friends have experienced negative things and they don't want you to go through that. And that's a different thing. I understand if you're a friend and you're like, girl, I know you like him, but in my last relationship, he did the same thing. And I don't want you to experience what I experienced when I can tell you how it might go. I understand that. But sometimes we get a little unhealthy with our projections, and you cannot allow people's opinions to make you decide on how you're going to live. You have enough capability to make decisions for yourself in your love life, in your business and relationship life. You might want an opinion, and if you do, you ask for it. But be aware when people are giving you opinions that you did not ask for, and when they are projecting in ways that you did not invite them to do. I've had so many people project, and sometimes they know it, and sometimes they don't. I had somebody who was like, yeah, maybe I'm different. Okay. Did you want a cookie that says different on it? I don't understand. Do what you do. That doesn't stop anything for me. Because, you operate how someone else operates, and then you regret it at the end of the day because you feel like that wasn't me. That's not what I wanted to say. That's not what I wanted to do. And so I let go and abandon any thought process of, well, she said this. I will take my friend's insight. I listen to their wisdom, but I will always operate as KeTohn. So when she says you should have busted the windows out that car, if KeTohn wasn't going to bust the windows out that car, then KeTohn's not busting the windows out that car. Because guess who's going to be sitting in that jail cell? Not her. So we have to really consider these decisions. Let's see. I had another one. Do not force anyone to do or share anything. If you don't want to accept their vagueness and their inability to dive deeper, just walk away. I've had times where people will try to like bait. I don't know if y'all have experienced this. Similar how people bait for a compliment. Like I could just look at y'all and be like, I really don't like how I look today. I don't like how I look. And then they continue talking. Kyliah's like, okay, well, what I was going to say was, and then I say, I just really don't like how I look. I'm just waiting for someone to say, KeTohn, you look good. I'm waiting for that. And there are people who play psychological games who are waiting for you so that you can feel like you have to chase them, that it's a thrill for them. It's a game. Don't ask me how I know all these things. I've seen and experienced a lot in this world. And so sometimes they'll say things and they're waiting for you to ask a question. They're waiting for you to say, well, tell me how you feel. Tell me this. One time somebody told me, well, never mind. I said, all right, never yours. Have a good one. Got on in my truck and skid on out of there. No, thank you. And what do you think this is, Blue's Clues? I'm not going to be over here trying to find the clue of how you feel and your emotions. So when people do that with you and you feel like you have to like pull, I'm not saying when you have to ask questions, because we do need to learn people, but when you are having to pull out how they feel about you or how they feel about situations, let them share exactly what they want to share. and you make the decisions based off what you are comfortable with. So if you feel like it's not enough information for me, and I keep asking and you keep giving me this vagueness, I'm not gonna keep, pulling stuff out of you like that. And this is a case by case scenario. You might have a partner who is very loyal, very supportive, very loving, and they simply do not have a good communication skill, right? But if
Yeah.
they are willing to be self aware when you bring things to their attention, and they are willing to work on that instead of retreating back to their old patterns or ways, then that might be a place where you want to have patience. But if you're dealing with a dust mite and you're asking, so where do we stand? How, where are we at right now? What do you think about this? And all you keep getting is, I don't know. Honestly, I haven't really, I don't know. Okay, bye. That's what we're going to have to start doing a little bit more. And then let's see, what else do I have over here? Something that Raven said earlier, boundaries. Practice communicating boundaries. Whether this is a serious relationship where you guys are going to be married, or this is a relationship where it's just fun, temporary, whatever it is, have your set boundaries, communicate them, and observe. You don't have to argue, just observe. I made the mistake last year of explaining, and I'll get into that date from hell in a bit. But I made the mistake of giving someone a free therapy session. That's what someone close to me said. And when she said that, it really dawned on me how many minutes I really wasted talking to this man when I really could have just been eating my banana pudding and tacos. So, I was like, you said what?
That's a good combo.
It was. It really was. The banana pudding was actually my idea after he stormed off and left. That was the second one. But had I just said what I needed to say and then left the Ed there, then he would have stormed off earlier and I could have really enjoyed it earlier. So I made that mistake. But you don't have to argue. No doesn't need an explanation, and boundaries don't need justifications. So if you're not comfortable with giving out your phone number, if you got found on an app or whatever, or you're not comfortable with doing something, just say it. And then after you say it, pay attention to their responses. And if it's anything that sounds like pressure or unnecessary aggression or hostility, go ahead and be cute. You're right. All right. I see what you're saying. And never come back and keep on moving. Because people who have emotional intelligence may not agree with it and they may voice that to you, but they don't have to be disrespectful. They don't have to be, condescending. And it doesn't have to turn into a war just because we have two different opinions on this topic. So your hands shouldn't be shaking by the end of the conversation. And unfortunately, that is the case for a lot of people. So practice communicating your boundaries, whatever those might be, and leave it there. Not, well, I do this because I want to, don't even. And you might not even be trying to justify. You might just be trying to tell them off or explain to them. And it's just not going to work because people hear what they want to hear. If they're listening to understand, then they will listen to understand. If they're listening to communicate, they'll listen to communicate. And if they're listening to argue, then that's exactly what you're going to get from that conversation.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I had a hard lesson in finally being more firm in my boundaries within the past year or two. I had to learn the hard way.
Oh man. What was that about? Can I ask? Or what, am I being too nosy?
Oh, sure. So, I was dating a guy who
let me eat some grapes. Go ahead, proceed.
Get your tea ready. But I was dating a guy who I was like deep in my people pleasing era, and I was trying to do everything to make him happy. Just wanted to do regardless, because I'm like, I got me a good man. I want to do whatever it takes to keep this, and even if it means means abandoning my boundaries basically. And so no matter what I did and no matter how many boundaries I got rid of, it still wasn't enough to keep him happy. He was still complaining about it or still trying to like push the boundaries even further than they'd already been pushed. So then I decided to after that was all over, I decided to like make a list of my boundaries in a little journal I had just to like as a reminder in case I forget what my boundaries are, or just know what to and what not to accept and what not to tolerate. So pretty much it.
That's beautiful. That is the exact example of if you give that book, if you give a pig a pancake or if you give a mouse a something, Yeah, you
A
just
cookie.
it's they're gonna need this and they're gonna need that because the reality, not that I'm referring to him or but what
Mhm.
I'm saying is when you are dealing with a person who is not happy internally, nothing will ever be good enough for them. And that's the true reality. I dealt with someone who was like that, and even though I love this person to death, still care about them. I care about you. I don't wish anything negative on the person, and I always did my best. I was not perfect, but I did my best to shower him with as much love as I possibly could, and work through things. At the end of the day, I started to notice a pattern where there's always something. We
Mhm.
could be having a beautiful day and riding in the car, and we get into traffic. Oh, here's the traffic. I don't understand what it is. Oh, it's traffic. That's a part of the day. Okay, we get to a hotel and they say we got to change rooms because one of them is not ready. I understand being upset, but we will be on a whole tangent about that room for the whole trip. Boy, we won't even
Oh
be able to
man.
go to the excursions. It was just like nothing is really enough for you. And how
Mhm.
I learned it was I tested it out. Sometimes you can't listen to other people. You just got to see for yourself. And that's okay. But I tested it out. I said, you know what? I'm about to say yes to everything that you say. And I'm going
Mm.
to see what your response is. It was, ooh, it's hot out here. I can't be out here for too long. Okay, no problem. Let's go home. I don't feel like being here. It's boring. I got to do, okay, let's get up and go to the store. Oh, I want to be here. We doing X, Y, and Z. Oh, okay, let's try this. Every time I say yes, let's do this, you just find something new to be complaining about, whether it was something that I did or it was something that was happening externally. There was
Mhm.
other factors going on in this person's life, and I do understand that. But that is my point. There was other factors going on in his life that contributed to him not being happy at that time and really dealing with some deep stuff. And when you're not happy internally, it shows because when people bring you beautiful things and you're experiencing beautiful people, you have a beautiful partner, you have a wonderful life, you can't truly experience it at the depths that you could if you were happy with yourself or if you were internally whole. And that person was not. So, for that reason, we were going to keep going through these complaining about every little last thing. And I was going to keep saying, well, let me try this. And then you keep coming back with something that's wrong until
Mhm.
I finally just, baby, the patience was gone. Patience on
Yeah.
zero. And it was very clear in my demeanor, in my personality, all of that just went out the window. And once I realized that about myself, that's when I realized, okay, I can't do this anymore because I don't be operating from this place of KeTohn where I'm irritated, stressed out. Just come on, let's just get done with this. Let's just get it over with. I don't want to do that because that's not my natural personality. So yeah, I get that. What about you, Kyliah? You got any other tips?
I'm just taking it all in, but I can honestly piggyback off of that because with my ex-husband, I used to feel that way. Like
Mm,
it was a lot of I would try to people please, I would try to make sure you're fine, ask the questions, make sure we're in a good space, but it was just always something. And so that was something that I had to recognize for myself that I'm not happy here. It doesn't allow me to feel like this is a safe space for my emotions to be okay, for like my mental to be okay.
mm-hmm.
So I think that it's considering a partner, making sure that they just are pretty stable for the most part. Like we're all a little unstable, but like for the most part, just you can be someplace where you're happy because happiness is very important. Your happiness is very important.
Mhm.
I think sometimes we lean in on trying to make the other person happy to make sure that we can stay with them, but if it's not in alignment, don't force it. Don't force yourself into
Yeah.
a situation.
Amen. Amen. I 100% agree. I think
Mhm.
the word is alignment. If it doesn't
Mhm.
make sense, if I'm feeling like I have to break my back just to get you to appreciate me or see me, there's something wrong with this picture. If it's one person working and another person chilling, there's something wrong with this picture. Some people are just genuinely not intellectually and emotionally available as much as they want to be or want to present themselves as that. They're
Yeah.
not that.
Yeah.
And we have to just accept them for who they are and keep it moving. That's the
I
truth
think
of it.
it's hard sometimes though because people can wear a mask and sometimes that mask doesn't fall off until like after you are really invested into something.
Mm-hmm.
And I watch friendships, my friends go through certain things and it's like they are chugging along, everything's great, everything's fine. And
And
then
then,
you get into
yeah,
delusion because
yeah,
you're so happy with that version that you were introduced to. So you can only
mm-hmm.
see them as that person then that mask falls off, and it's like they can't see that this is the real version of them. Oh, it's a mishap. Oh, it's just a one off. But why does one off keep happening?
Yeah, yeah, uh-huh, exactly. And over the silliest things is when they really reveal themselves. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that's how you felt about this. I've had some
Mhm.
really dusty experiences in my past. I
I'm
had
so
one time,
sorry.
it's very
Nothing
unfortunate
but.
for us as women. It's actually the motivation behind my upcoming event, Soft Girl Sunday, is about us supporting and loving on our women more, because it's like we sometimes just be getting short end of the stick. And you can't win, you can't lose. You're too hard, and they're like, "Oh, you trying to be a dude." And then if you're soft and vulnerable, "Oh, you're on me too much. I really want that." What do you want? What do you
They
want?
don't know.
So
They
exactly,
don't know.
exactly. And maybe some of them have experienced this with women too. I don't know, but
Yeah.
what I do know is that I've had experiences where a person has truly shown me what they thought of me. And the most beautiful thing about that is that when you have the gracefulness and the confidence in yourself to know that you're smart, you don't have to prove it to other people. People sometimes underestimate your intelligence. And when they get comfortable around you is when they start to really show you what they think of you and how they plan to use you in their life. And that
Mm.
is a beautiful thing, because let me tell you, I had this he was definitely on The Mask. The movie The Mask, that was him, okay? And it was this guy that I was talking to at the time. This gentleman is a different culture, okay? He's Indian. And
Okay.
yeah, I don't discriminate, baby. If you gonna treat me right, you gonna treat me right. What we doing? But at the time, I was like, I'm just gonna be open and see, what I think of the personality. I'm not worried too much about the culture, the exterior. I've even dated people that initially I wasn't sure yet if I was attracted to them, but if they're a good person, I was willing to find out. Don't do that, but I did it. But don't do it. Just go ahead and date somebody that you're attracted to, because I'm telling you right now, you had the same
Mm.
experience. But back to the story. Let me not go too far off. Um,
I was intrigued.
sorry, y'all. I'm about to crash out for a second. I had to remember where I was. The Boss Baby Blog.
I was like, oh, where's this going?
But yeah, so this individual, I had talked to more than one Indian guy before, but this specific guy, I talked to him, and he started off so eager, so excited. Oh, I'm gonna take you out. Let's do this. Let's do that.
Mhm.
Hey, let me take you out on a date. Hey, you want to come here? Wow, you're so educated. You're so independent. You're so da da da. Positive things. I was loving it. I thought we were really becoming great friends that could lead to a great relationship. However, did I put all my eggs in one basket and say this is gonna be my husband and let me move out of my room or my home or go and be with him for the rest of my life? Heck no. No, I could do what I was doing. You know why? Because as I was soft and sweet and graceful with him and continued talking to him and making him feel comfortable, he said something to me one day. We reached a level where he clearly was looking to date people physically, which is okay, right? He starts talking to other people. And one day he was like, hey, I don't want to do this, but can I just release to you what happened? Because I'm really feeling bad. Because someone that he was talking to had did something to him. Now, I might be a little different. Some of my friends, I'm not even gonna lie, if they watch this podcast, they have called me a whole man. And I don't know how to feel about that yet. But there's certain
Oh.
things that when you tell me as a woman, I do not care. So you say, I want to release this because I just had a bad date. I don't care. I'll tell you about my bad date too. Because I feel like we should be able to do that as friends. But some guys have told me, I don't tell that to a woman ever if I like her. And that's cool. That's your preference. I don't care either way, because that
Mhm.
doesn't determine your character. And that's what I'm here for. So he was like, I got to tell you about my bad experience. I said, sure, go ahead, shoot. He was like, well, I really like her. She's been treating me really badly. And I just don't. Basically, long story short, from what he told me, I said, you need to go ahead and just bounce. It's simple. You're being dragged through the dust. You're not eating. It's time to leave. So I said that. And in the process of him receiving that kindness and that wisdom from this intelligent Black woman that he so underestimated, he said something. He said, it's really important for me to marry someone that's from my culture.
Oh, wow.
Let me sip this tea before I finish this.
Oh, he went there.
And you know what's crazy about it? He didn't even realize just how clear you have made things for me. because you thought that you were going to vent to me and then we were going to go back to talking and maybe we would continue going out on dates. And this individual even had the audacity, the gall, I can't even call it, I don't even know what to call it. I was going to say the Negro audacity, but we ain't going to do that. I don't know what that is. The audacity to sit here and ask me if I was going to take him out somewhere. Are you out of your rabid mind?
Certified family.
That was a perfect answer.
That was perfect timing.
I was like, what? Am I going to take you out? But you see, he didn't realize how I'd already caught on because I was listening the entire time. So when you were venting and talking about what you were going through, I was supportive. I was encouraging. But you made something very clear to me. You want to bring someone home that is in your culture. And you knew you wanted to bring someone home that was in your culture when you did what? When you started dating me. So when you said things like, do we still have a chance? Am I still in the running? Those were not authentic questions. That wasn't genuine questions because you already knew we weren't going to be in a marriage and you never intended to. But you also knew the caliber of a woman that I am. And you knew that I was going to be straightforward with you. And I straightforwardly told you that right now I'm looking for people that could potentially be a marriage. We don't have to get married tomorrow, but that's what I'm interested in. And if I was interested in something else, I would still be a wonderful caliber of a woman because I know who I am and I treat people with dignity and I have my dignity. So it does not matter if I wanted marriage or if I wanted something temporary. Let's make that clear. But I told him what I wanted. And I said I wanted something down the line that would lead to marriage. And you knowing this, continued to talk to me. Continued. Until that day when you released and you said a little bit too much. You let those lies run through your teeth a little too hard. Forgot what you lied about. Talking about some... And it's really important for me to bring somebody home that's in my culture. So this goes back to my original statement about having a backup plan and that backup plan being yourself. Had I listened to, am I still in the running? Do I still have a chance? And I thought that you were really interested in me. I'd say, oh, of course you do. Yeah. Start giving you a little bit more attention and stuff. But what did I do? I just let you be yourself. And eventually you just showed me that you just weren't worthy and you just need to be with the dust mites. So that's where I left them. But, you know, it's that being able to be graceful and not always making everything an argument and not always repeating yourself with your boundaries. Sometimes people just need to, you just need to let them show you who they are. And he showed me in that moment, like, wow, you really don't like me. Not only do you not like me, you don't respect me. Because if you respected someone's intelligence, when they tell you they want something, if you don't want that, you would make that clear. But you thought that you were going to pull the wool over somebody's eyes. Thought you was going to get you a little something, huh? And you didn't get nothing. Gotta hurt. Anyways, that's my little tidbit when it comes to that. Did you ladies have anything you want to piggyback off or anything that you thought of when I was talking about that?
Do you?
Raven's like, that was a lot to process. I've been through it. Put a finger down if you've been through it. Or how to play that game.
I mean, I guess kind of piggybacking off of that. There's this one guy who he's always calling me wifey and future wifey and all this other kind of stuff. And then we got into like a heated argument one day, and turns out, oh no, I was never gonna marry you or propose to you or anything. Like, I was just saying that. I'm like, oh,
that's about right. Sounds about right. Absolutely. They tell you everything when they're upset, don't they?
Yep.
Yeah. Kyliah's like, oh,
I've just heard some things around these parts. I understood that it wasn't going to be too safe in the streets once I had dipped my little toe out there. So I've been trying to play it safe, but masks. I was
diabolical.
Well, these masks are just interesting, and I'm not going to just put it on men, women as well.
Yeah, they do wear masks.
We can wear a mask just as well as they can, and sometimes they are hoodwinked and bamboozled by us as well. But people are dirty out here, okay? And one tip that I will definitely give is to go where you are celebrated and not tolerated. My mom told me that when it came to friendships and just environments that I was in, but that is also in relationships. And another one for me, obviously, as a woman who was interested in men, it was also don't let a man tell you twice that he does not want you. But it can be vice versa for,
Yeah.
whomever you're dating. Because and they're not going to say, I don't want you. Right. They're not going to like flat out say it. Now, you may have a bold man that says it, but very rare that they're going to not say it, that they're going to say it and be like, I don't want you. Like, I don't like you like that. I don't, very rare. But
I wish they would.
It would be a lot easier if they would start off with what you really want. We can maneuver from there. Let me make the choice. Let me make the choice if I want to proceed with this or not. Because I may be down for whatever you're down for.
Thank you. Oh my God.
But you don't give me the option. You choose for me, and then now we have a problem.
And I don't take notes. Because now you made me think of something. I don't want to forget it. So I'm going to finish your statement. Because that right there, we need to talk about that. We need to talk about that. We do. Please proceed. I'm sorry.
No, it's just because it does take us out of character. And I think that's another thing. Don't date somebody that will take you, out of character and put you in a position of you're not meant to be there. Because if you have, I'm sorry, my little lash is we're just gonna take that off. I don't care. It's a little cluster. It's fine. But people that take you out of character, they're not meant for you. They're not in alignment, because if you're acting a certain way, your spirit is disturbed, you should not be there. I say leave. Definitely get out of there, because if you have a lot to lose, we don't have no bail money for you. I'm sorry. I don't.
Telling you.
I feel like your finances should go in something like an investment and not your bail.
And you already know, if you my friend, all I can do is call you and be like, dang girl, like I love you, like, free you. Baby.
I'm gonna pray for you. I got you.
Yeah.
To the Lord. He is always on the main line. Hello.
We do the best we can, but we cannot be, not for something that could have been prevented. That's the thing. Some stuff is not preventable, but some stuff is like, now you knew that person had you acting crazy after that last argument. Some people, I just leave.
People really like sit in their emotions and act impulsively on that versus thinking, because a lot of people that know me, they're like, how do you not react? Like, why don't you react? Or why did you handle that with so much grace? And it's really because God built me that way. I don't know why. Sometimes I wish I could act in the moment, because you had me so messed up that I was too nice. I was way too nice. I walked away. And I probably should have caught you in your head.
Same.
The Lord didn't let me do it. The Lord did not let me do it. He did it.
First with calmness.
And I don't know why. Some days I'm like, but why? I want that. I want that spice that I have. I am spicy. I do have a mouth. I can clock you. But like, you don't let me do it in the moment, Lord.
In the moment in the moment you're assessing what is really important, and it's really important to get up out of here at the end of the day. So that's probably, that's what it is. It's that maturity. So kudos to you, because it is very hard. It is really hard. And then it's even harder when a person has no clue how close they're walking to the edge. They're just dancing on the edge, have no self-awareness whatsoever. And you're sitting there like, this could be my day. This could be this could be my day. We might just all make a story today. But, we have to continue to pursue and be mature. We don't give enough credit to the men and women who are able to be mature in situations where I really wouldn't be confused as to why things went down the ringer because of the way you were treated. But man, what you said about giving people the choice, I'm not going to say that, I'm not going to put it on the same level of someone being abused physically, or actually, I don't know if I ain't trying to get taken down, but I will say that there is a level of deceitfulness to pretend intentionally to be something just so that someone will give you their vulnerability or give you their comfort. And this is not just for men. Like Kyliah said before, women have done it before. And I'm not saying that we can't grow out of it. However, in the moment when you are doing something like that, that is a deceitful act. It is not anything positive about it. And let's just talk about this. Don't let people's labels distract you, because There will be people with those labels who are doing things like that.
Yep.
You know, I had someone tell me, oh, yeah, I'm a good man and I need me a good Christian woman. And it's just important that she does this, this, and that. And I want to be this and that. And then only to find out that you're a good liar because you're everywhere. You're all over the streets, in the streets, out the streets, in the homes, more than one. I've seen you all over. So there's nothing good about you except for your lying skills. And so when people do stuff like that, I need y'all to understand that that is not an act that you could have foreseen. So do not beat yourself up if you wake up one day and you say, who the heck are you? Because like you were saying earlier, Raven, about how that person told you, I wasn't even planning on marrying you. First off, saying that to somebody, you just sound stupid saying it. Because now you're telling me that you don't value yourself enough, that you're willing to sit and like people or pretend that you like people when you don't. That's a waste of your time. And if you're wasting your time, you don't value yourself. So when people say stuff like that, I just want you to know you sound crazy. But let's move on to the next thing. I had one time when I can't. Somebody said that one time and I was like, you think you're doing something? Like, he's like, I would never date somebody like that and be married. I said, well, if you wouldn't date her, then why are you sleeping with, like, why are you trying to sleep with her? If you would, that's different. That's different. No, it's not different. You don't have any self-respect. You don't have any standards. Like, I'm not saying people can't change. If she changed and she did the things that you felt like were worthy of your time and attention, then by all means, court that woman. But if she's not doing that, then why the heck are you still in her face? You crazy. Hey, what? But let me not, that's another podcast. So back to what I was saying, I had someone tell me something that just really, it really struck me, the level of, what's the word? I didn't know until I reached my like 20s, my late 20s, just how well a person can deceive you, not just romantically, but friendships as well. Just how well a person can put on a show to be in your good graces, and just how deeply they don't like you and are waiting for a moment when you are not doing well. I did not understand the depth of that. I knew it, but I didn't really know it. Because it's like, it's one thing to hear it and see other people happening, but it's another thing to see multiple people doing it that are close to you and be like, wow, that's crazy. So you're over here working to help somebody, you know what I mean? Only to find out they're working to hurt you. And I had a relationship where this individual said something about my, I forgot what he said. Oh, he said something about my dreams. Okay, so this individual knew that at the time I had been working really hard on my goals, and there was something that I had to cut back on because I needed to stay within my budget, and I have more than one business. And that's just business. Sometimes you got to cut back on stuff. Corporations do that. I've worked for corporations that did that as a business manager. So in the process of this, I was like, okay, that's fine. I'll just cut back. I'll do this. Look at me thinking I'm being Miss Boss Woman. Well, one day we get into an argument, we get into a disagreement. And this person says, and the real reason why I didn't help you or support you is because I felt like it wasn't worth it to begin with. And you weren't going to get anything done. Because that's why you had to cut back on that. So specific.
Oh.
And let's also add to this that this was a while back when I had to cut back on that. You still remember that. You still been sitting with that. And sometimes people say stuff in the heat of the moment, but sometimes people say their truth. So I'm not necessarily saying that that person hated me, but you hated yourself to the point where you wanted to do and say anything to hurt anybody in your way, whether they care about you or not. That's what I reflected back then. You really didn't like yourself, and you really wanted to drag me down to that level of me not liking myself in that moment with you. So had I never heard that, you could have never told me that this person would say something like that. I would stand on it 10 toes down and be like, no, never. No, very specific, very intentional. Yeah. People say really rough things, and that's just like the tip of the iceberg. So you just got to be prepared for the fact that one day that mask might come off, or they might get frustrated with the fact that you're comfortable with yourself and you have boundaries and you're secure, and they just take it off in front of you. And at that point, like Raven said earlier, just go ahead and pack up and leave. Just leave. Just let it go. Let it go. All right. Well, I am going to allow you ladies to, talk a little bit about what's going on with your business. I did want to tell my story about this date from hell, but I'll let y'all know. I mean, I'll let y'all decide what y'all think. We should just go straight into our big
The
stuff.
story.
I mean, you should have asked us the option. Gave us the option. So I
Let me get some water.
She did mention that earlier, didn't she?
All right. We talk about giving options. Now look at you. Now you gave us the option, and we're gonna take that one.
I didn't even finish the sentence. I said, "What do you think?" The story. Okay. So let me tell you all about this story. One moment. Let me make sure I set this timer.
There's some popcorn or tea when you need
get
it.
some popcorn. Get your tea. Grab it.
I got my peanuts. I would just be in my peanut gallery over here with my comments.
Not. I should have brought mine. I really should have. Okay, let me pour my little drink. Pour my little water and get prepared, y'all. All right, here we go. Everybody good? Everybody got their drinks? I said I wasn't gonna snack, but maybe a couple of crackers won't hurt. Okay, so let's talk about this, y'all. I did briefly discuss this, and I kind of left it in 2025, but I'm gonna share it because I made a mistake on this date, and I'm sure you guys will probably hear the mistake as we go. So I decided to try out a dating app. Silly old me. Silly old me. So, I said, hey, what's the worst that go wrong? Let's just have us a good little time. Let's just see where this goes. Well, it already starts off funky, a little weird, because I don't normally give out my phone number to anyone, even in person. If I'm talking to a guy, if we're not really like connecting, I'm not giving you my number. And some people might say like, oh, why you gotta be like that? I'm not being any kind of way. I don't have to give you my number. Now, because things are getting dangerous out here, yes, ladies, you may need to go ahead and get you that fake number, or just get you a second number that you give them for your safety, because there are really people out here who will physically try to harm you when you tell them no. And this is a very common reality for women. So as men are listening to this podcast, please don't take it as an attack, but understand that this is our reality, and it's just what happens. And I want to leave that disclaimer, because the same way, as a person of color, you may experience where you talk to someone about the things you've gone through being a person of color, and they try to gaslight you into thinking that this isn't what's happening around you. Like you go to the line and they look at everybody except for you and say, you're next. And then you say, I don't know about that, because I was next in the line. Maybe it was something. No, it has nothing to do with color. Okay, cool. Then you go get on your car and somebody says, go back to Africa, and they say, it has nothing to do with color. It's very clear it has something to do with color. And I think that if we start listening to understand instead of arguing, we'll get somewhere. Okay? So I'm just leaving that little disclaimer. So this individual sent me a message. I said, okay, let me text him back. And then I think I wanted to give him a number. Ended up giving him my work number. It is my number. I do operate from my work number, and I call people from my number all the time. I leave voicemails. They leave me voicemails. Sometimes they'll leave a text, but I call them. So I gave him the number. But then he was like, oh, yeah, let's text. And I realized I don't want to do the texting game. I don't. I do want to go out on a date and enjoy my presence with people, but I don't have time. Like, if we're going to go out, send me the address and the time, and then let's meet there, and let's be intentional and enjoy each other. But what we're not going to do is this back and forth rigmarole. What's your favorite color? Do you like daffodils or roses? Okay, if I cooked you a meal, what would you do? Okay, no, I'm sorry. I can't. It drives me insane. And I don't know if it's because I have like ADHD or what, but like after those first 3 sentences, I'm out of there. Mentally, I'm gone. So let's just get to a date. So I said, you know what? I'm making a mistake here. I said, let's just stay on the app if that's okay with you. Like, let's just communicate on the app. He was like, well, I texted you. I said, okay, well, let's just do the app if you're cool with that. Okay. He said he was fine with it, right? He didn't bring up any issue. Well, we continue to chat. He says, let's do a date. We pick out a place to go for the date. He then proceeds to send me something that says you choose to continue to text me on here. But I called him from my phone too. to let him know that I was running like maybe 15 minutes late. He was like, but you consistently want to text me on this app, even though I told you that I'm not on the app like that. First of all, why the hell you on the app? I'm sorry, excuse my French. Get my nieces and nephews off here. But why the hell is you on the app if you ain't want to be on the app? What you mean? Why am I texting you on the app? That's what the app is for. If you don't want to use the app, then why you download the app to get on the app to start using the app? I'm confused.
Valid.
But I said, you know what? I can understand. He might have a little shakiness because I said, let's just stay on there. So maybe he's just nervous too. I'll leave that alone. So I continue and I ignored it. When we came to meet, I said, I'm going to go in there with the best energy and attitude. And two of my friends will attest to this. One of them I was on the phone with before I went in. And I was telling him, I said, I'm going to go in with a good attitude because sometimes text messages get misconstrued. So I see him. I said, hey, looking a little bit like Oliver Twist's long lost brother, but it's cool. We cool. I'm going to keep going. So we keep walking. I don't say nothing because looks aren't always important, but effort is. I wasn't feeling it. So we get to that desk. Let me stop adding my little comments and just continue the story. But we get to that desk to go in and get the food or go in to sit down. We go to sit down. I've dressed up. I've done my makeup. I don't wear makeup a lot. So if I have makeup on, it's because it's something that I really want to like, just, look a little special for. Yeah. So I got my makeup done. I've done my nails, got my cute jewelry on, got my boots on with my heels, all of that. Nice leather jacket. I put effort into this date. So we're sitting down and immediately he just slaps me with it. So we're talking and he goes, or I was like, I got to look you in your eyes or something like that. Cause he was asking me, should he sit next to me, sit across from me? I said, I just like to look people in their eyes and talk to them. So let's just sit across from each other. Oh, why is that? I said, well, that's just because, I said, I don't know. I like to study people. He was like, oh, you're an alien or something along those lines. I didn't take it serious when he said that. Cause one of my friends was like, what does that even mean? But I didn't take it serious. I thought he was joking. So I just laughed and continued talking. And then I said, he was like, yeah, I'm just kidding. I said, okay, cool. I said, but then in the midst, he was like, is that why you gave me your fake number? Is that why you gave me a fake number? And I was like, what do you mean I gave you a fake number? He was like, you gave me a fake number. I said, no, I didn't give you a fake number. Did you not get a call from me? I called you. And he was like, well, it's fake. I said, no, it's a real number. Like, you can literally see a real number. Like, what? So you didn't get my personal number. And that's what's bothering you right now. And instead of just saying, I'm on this date with this lovely woman who has dressed up and presented herself nicely, and she's here in front of me, you know what I mean? We're going to continue to worry about the type of number that you received. That doesn't really.
So he was fixated on the number the entire day.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
And then it got even better. He's like, well, where do you live? Or no. Let me hold up. Let me rephrase. I ain't trying to lie on nobody. Let me not. That's what I heard. Okay, that's what I heard. Sometimes people say stuff and then KeTohn hears it.
Okay.
What I heard was, where do you live? Dallas PD. That's what I heard. But what he said was, so it took me about like maybe 15, 20 minutes to get here. How long did it take you? Where are you coming from? Or something like that. Okay, let's even say he didn't say where are you coming from. Let's just say he said, how long did it take you? I said, why do you ask? He was like, oh, just, no reason, want to know. I said, distance is never a problem. I said, I'll meet you wherever. Boom. I don't feel like that response was inappropriate or disrespectful or anything. I actually asked him why he wanted to know instead of assuming. And my response was, distance is never a problem. So after that, we continued to chat and he's like, here you go. First off, you have to know me to know where we're going. So what are you talking about? This is our first date. Like, we're not even. So as we continue to talk, he's upset. He's like, I don't understand. Why can't you just tell me how long it took for you to get there? Okay, guys, here's another tip for fellas that are out there on their dating. Let's stop asking women where they're coming from and where they live. If you like her and you guys get comfortable and she feels safe, she's going to share all that information with you over time. And it may not even be before the date ends. Number one. And number two, you can do your due diligence and go learn more about people, research them, look them up as time goes. But if you don't like her, none of that stuff matters anyways, because you'll probably be headed out the door. So all of that energy that we put into knowing their social security number, where they're from, all those crazy things that we ask, except for what's important, like, hey, what are your religious beliefs? What's your foundation? Do you want kids? What are you dating for? What is your dating style? How do you communicate? something that's really important to you. I didn't get any of those questions. I got, you gave me a fake number. How far are you? Here we go again. All of that. So as I'm trying to express to him that dating is not safe for women, he proceeds to give me the statement of, you're always taking a risk. You could get hit by a car. You could get out of your house. You could go, yeah, I don't I don't know. I don't know. I'm just here. I'm just here to eat. So he's talking about some you could get hit by a car when you get out the house. You're taking a risk. Everything that you do when you drive, you take a risk to get hit and die. And I said, don't you think I said get hit and die? I said, don't you think that's a bit extreme? And he was like, well, okay, get hit and have an accident. I said, okay, but that's not the same. That's like there's calculated risk and then there's just like unnecessary risk. And so an unnecessary risk will be me giving you like the location of where I live and we've only gone on a date once. I think that I don't want to take that risk. I think we should just continue to talk and see if we like each other 1st.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I feel. And so he just would not let that go. We kept going back to it. And the mistake that I made was after I expressed the boundary and how I really just don't share that stuff for safety reasons, he continued. And I should have just let him continue and just been done. But instead, I tried to express to him, I said, hey, I was really excited about our date today. I haven't been on a date in a long time, And he's like, yeah, me too. Just shut up. Just listen. Dang. Everybody want to be a me too. Yeah, me too. Me too. If it was you, you would have just said that. And if it is you, that's cool. But we're not talking about you right now. Boo boo, we talking about me. Relax. So when I said it, he was like, yeah, me too. Me too. I said, okay, whatever that means. I don't know if it's good or bad, but I was just really excited to meet you. But it seems like you're really fixated on just this number and this address thing. And I don't understand why we can't just move past that and have a good night. Like, this is our first meetup. And we couldn't get past it. So long story short, I called the waiter and asked for a check. And she's like, yeah, you want one separate together? I said, please separate. She was like, okay, later now. I said, please now. Okay, thank you. Got that. Signed that thing. He was sitting over there. At first, I was going to get up and go to the restroom, but I really wanted to eat my tacos. So I was like, no, I can't leave my food with you. So I stayed there, big bakery. He was like, is there a problem? Why don't you just go to the restroom? Come back. Then he started to talk about how he wanted to understand me. You probably should have started off trying to understand me in the beginning, okay? So this is a lesson for everyone because I'm sure it's not just men that have been forceful on a date or tried to get information or try to push on a topic that we could just really let go of. But if you want to have a rich dating experience, walk into every situation with a positive mindset of, I'm going to make the best out of this situation. And start off there. Laugh. Have a good time. And it's not to say you can't have serious conversation, but everything doesn't have to be an argument or a debate. Sometimes it's okay to just let people be how they are and who they are, because with time and in conversation, they're going to reveal to you exactly what you need to know on what place they may be able to be in your life, whether that's any place. And that's okay. But some things pay attention to. So you don't always have to ask the little tiny questions of like, where your address is and what's you gave me a fake number. Pay attention to me. What did I say when I first came to this date? I came dressed up. I had my nails done. I had done some makeup. You don't have to have makeup done. But for all of you ladies out there that don't normally wear makeup, you know what I'm talking about. And for the ones that do, you know what I'm talking about too. That takes time. So I did this, set my little face, slick my hair back. You see how much hair is on my head? This is a lot. This was a lot. So I did all of that. I got all cute. So something in that action alone should tell you as a man, this is someone who is clearly taking this meetup seriously. Mm-hmm. Whether we had a little bumpy road or not, she came here looking cute. She's excited to be here. She's putting on effort. Something should tell you that. And it's not just for men, but in this situation, I believe that had we looked at the actions that a person is presenting to you, that should tell you something. Also, the fact that I was very appreciative that this person was flexible when we started communicating and I expressed that. Also, the fact that I communicated when I was running late. These are things we pay attention to. It's not to say that that means they're going to be your forever person, but these are all things that show maturity communication. So just because you don't see eye to eye on one or two little things does not mean that the whole date has to go to hell. And the reason why it was hell was because I made it hell, because I really could have just stopped way earlier. Mm-hmm. But I just continued to try to be communicative, and I was really looking forward. But baby, after probably like that 10-minute, 15-minute mark, I was like, you know what? And I didn't even finish these tacos. Can I get that check? And, he got upset and was like, getting up and grabbing the stuff. He left his fries. That's on you, buddy. I'm eating my food. So I ate my tacos and then I ordered me a nice little banana pudding and I continued to enjoy my night. And I watched you to make sure that you leave out. And I just did my thing. And that was just a wrap, But
Wow.
yeah, that whole date was just, I didn't understand where we were going with this. And, you're taking a risk being here with me right now. Let's just relax. We ain't got to be so, let's relax. Give people a chance to feel comfortable and soft with you so that they can tell you how they really feel. Don't come in there so, because I can be a dog too. But let's not just be barking at each other. Let's just have a conversation and enjoy each other's presence and have a nice, sexy, grown night. Hey, you look nice. I like your hair. Something. But yeah, that's why you gave me the fake number. Where do you live?
No, on a positive note, I guess all you have to do is let him talk and show himself up, and
Yeah.
at least it was you saw it then rather than later on.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? That was another option too. I could have just continued to let him give the lecture because that's really what it was. It was him giving his reasons for why what I had to say about my boundaries and my comfort levels was not right and why it was unreasonable. So I could have just let him give his lecture and continue to enjoy the day. But I think I was feeling something that I hadn't felt in a long time in that moment, which was, and I don't know if anyone's experienced this, but when you are in a hectic and stressful relationship and the person that you are talking to, it feels like they're being unnecessarily aggressive. It's like you start to get this anxiety, not necessarily like you're scared, but like I'm gonna blow up if I don't get out of this situation. Like I'm getting irritated now because I've already tried talking and expressing how I feel, and you hit me off. So I was like, you know what? I'm really feeling something I haven't felt in years. I haven't felt this feeling in a long time, and that was probably in my early 20s or so. So when I started feeling that, I was like, check, check, please, two separate now. And I talked to the waiter. I was like, that, no. She was like, yeah, just if you ever want to date and it's not going well, just let us know. Like we understand. I was like, yeah, I know for the future. Whatever I need to do, I need to like tug on my collar or cough a little bit. I don't know, but yeah, that was something crazy, but it was a learning experience for myself because I took notes on what I could have done better, which is just leave earlier, or just like you said, just let him talk and just let him continue to talk and get that out, and then move on to the next part of the night. But it'd be hard sometimes. I ain't gonna lie, I've been struggling because, girl, I know I'm 29, but I have the patience of like a 89-year-old, and it's a strict ship over here. It is. It really is. It really is. We don't have time for the foonanery. That's what I'm calling it, the foonanery. We just don't have it in us. But I have turned over a new leaf in 2026 where I am now practicing the art of just letting go. So in that moment, if I could go back, I would have just let go of the frustration that I was feeling of repeating myself over and over again and simply just stop right in the tracks, you know? So that's my tip. And I want to speed up because I want us to talk about our stuff. But there's one thing I didn't say earlier. And this is a tip for women and men, but I'm going to start with the men. Men, if you're trying to have a more enriching dating experience with women that you are potentially wanting to be in a relationship with, or you just want to have a great time with, like Kyliah said earlier, just be direct about what it is that you're wanting. Because half the time, what you're wanting, another person might just be down to do that. If you say, I don't want a relationship, I don't want marriage, I just want to, temporarily be together, that might be exactly what she's looking for. But when you start off presenting yourself like you want something different and then you change and switch up, that is what is uncomfortable. So if you're unsure, say you're unsure. If you don't know, say you don't know. If you just want to test the waters, say you just want to test the waters. But what we don't do is start off with a list of promises that we plan to deliver and how we plan to do it. Practice understanding the value in your words as a man, with a woman, because in my experience, I have dealt with a lot of men that have said something and had no intention of following up and following through. And that's really not a good thing. It's not a thing to judge someone over, but we have to practice being about our word. If you say, I want to marry you, you better be looking up some registries if those words come out your mouth. Don't be over here just saying, I want to marry you because you had a little bit of yak. Okay? I can't.
Mm-hmm.
If you say, I got to introduce you to my friends, where they at? Don't say it. Don't bring it out your mouth if you're
Mm-hmm.
not about to do it, if you're not serious about it. And I've said this to women too and business owners. We've talked about this before in different rooms. So this is not just a man thing. That's why I said women and men. But let's practice understanding the strength in our words. Because once you say and you put it out into that air and people start to adjust based off of the energy that you are presenting, you cannot be surprised when they start moving in ways that align with what the words were that you said versus what you actually feel inside. So that's the tip that I would give. And then for women, I'm going to end on that tip that I shared earlier, which is simply to always be your backup. Because at the end of the day, we cannot, we have to hold ourselves accountable for how far we're willing to go. It's not our fault when someone is of low quality. It's not our fault when someone does not follow through. However, once they show us through their actions that they're not following through, we have to decide what level of access they deserve in our lives. And if they're not showing up how they need to show up, they don't get that access. It's very, very simple. And if you decide you want to give them that access again, we need reparations. Okay? Don't do this twice. Don't do it. And if you're already in a relationship with somebody that you feel like is pulling you in a negative way, it's not too late to grow, but it's never too late to get up and find something better for yourself. And I'm speaking directly to women that have children that are in a marriage or a family where they are not feeling like they are being nurtured and loved on the way they deserve to be as a woman. You know in your heart whether it's something that maybe you need to work on in many cases. Sometimes you might need to get an opinion from a professional. But I often see where I see women who have kids on the sideline watching women who don't, thinking that that can't be them because they have children, or that can't be them because they were in a marriage. Oh, well, I'm already married, so I'll just stay here and I'll be here. You don't have to stay there. And anything that you've been through, anything that has been a part of you, that is a part of you. It does not define you. So, and men too, because I'm sure there's men out there who carry that chip on their shoulder. But these things don't define you. And if you move through life with the insecurity of thinking that they do, and it makes you less valuable because you have kids or you were in a relationship or you were married, you're going to miss out on really wonderful opportunities that you could have had with somebody who cared about none of that and cared about what mattered, which is your character and the type of person that you are and the quality that you bring. So hopefully that message stays with people. Ladies, did you want to share a little bit more about your business and, just new things that you have going on in the year of 2026 for your brands? Or your last little thoughts too. I'm sorry.
Okay. You want
Um,
to start, Kyliah?
I can go. My last tip would be, before I share about my business, would also be when you are considering a partner, just make sure that they're very supportive because um, your whatever your goals, your dreams are, you don't want somebody that can essentially bring down that happiness and that joy that you have. It's already hard when you're pursuing something in your life, whatever that goal is. I know for us as businesswomen, it's tough trying to do these things on our own. So having the right partner that supports us, even if they don't understand the business side of it, just having that support. And it doesn't have to be the financial part. Would it be helpful? Absolutely. But, but a little bit. But just to know that the same way that they want us to support them when they're at work or whatever they have going on, we need that support as well. So just be very mindful of that because that can determine how successful you are. If that partner is draining you, you will not have time to really lean into what makes you very happy. So just consider that. And for business wise, 2026, I'm cooking some things up here. Um,
Yay.
so I definitely have been leaning more into like styling services. So yes, I still have my products and I want to have more products, but definitely leaning into being a fashion stylist and serving others that way, just to find their personal style. And of course, you can shop with me and we can build some looks together. But if you want to go in a different direction, I'm okay with that. That's what I'm here for. And I may have something dropping at the beginning of February.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I may or may not know what that is, but my lips are. Well, congratulations on all
Yeah,
the amazing
congrats.
things you've been doing, because
Thank you.
you've definitely been moving mountains with how consistent you show up for your business. And I love the direction you've been going in as far as like just getting back out there and offering more of that insight on styling, confidence. It's very much needed. And you make a great point about needing someone that's supportive, because man, I think I have unfortunately, because of my experiences, I have, well, let me say fortunately, let me reframe that.
Mm.
Fortunately, because of my experiences, I have been able to eliminate some of those feelings that come with being an entrepreneur by yourself as a woman. Um, but there were moments in relationships where it really did feel disheartening, like to see someone close to you act as if they had no interest in showing up for you, or say things that are so hurtful towards you simply because they want to get you upset about things that they know are very important to you. Or just getting used to the feeling of showing up and doing things by yourself when you have a whole person here who's supposed to be supporting you and helping you. And it's a very unfortunate feeling, but because I've experienced some of those things, in a sense, I'm going to say nothing can phase me, but there's a lot that does not surprise me, that people are like, I don't know how are you processing this? And I'm just like, another day in the,
Yeah.
there's no walk in the park, because this is just the reality for a lot of people. But I think you're right. You're right. Like, support is really important. And the mask, it is real. So we can't judge other women when they go through these experiences. Let's not be those people that say, uh, couldn't be me, because it very well could have if you got somebody who was crazy enough to lie to you for 7 years. Yes, I said 7 years because I've seen someone lie to someone for 7 years
Ooh.
and be the perfect person and turn around and flip a switch on you with, I mean, when I say flip, I mean flip. But that's going to have to go into a book, because that also is a part of my life.
Mhm.
But still, it's so true. So I appreciate your words. And I definitely want to give you your flowers because you've been doing your thing, period. And I wanted to tell you that there was one brunch you could not attend, but I had the intention of saying this. I never got a chance to in 2025, so I'm so glad I get to now. But one of the reasons why I wanted to name you the boss of the month was because I really feel like you embody what a lot of women are scared to do, which is start over in the romantic area of their life and have the courage to rebuild in other areas.
Mhm.
Because when you go through a divorce or separating, it's kind of like separating with somebody or divorce, but they both have different labels. But divorce, there's so much stigmas that come with that, especially for
Mhm.
women. I mean, I'm sure men have some too, but not really. Like, somebody's like, he's divorced. They're like, ooh, he's divorced.
Mhm.
What's his number? She's divorced. Ooh, what's wrong with her? Why? You know what I mean? Those are two different energies that we get. So for you to have that confidence to say, I'm leaving this, I'm taking lessons from it on what I could have done better or what I could have recognized. But I also recognize what I deserve. And then continue starting with your business. Like, that is so amazing. And I wish that for every woman that I meet who is going through a relationship where they are not aligned with what they need to be aligned with for their life. So, yeah. So give you your flowers. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. I know it's hard. Like, there's days when she was tired. Like, she was tired. We would be in the meetings. Baby, I ain't gonna say what the meetings look like. I'm just gonna say
And
I'm gonna
I
say what the
finally got
meetings
a
look like.
computer. Let's start there. We're on a computer now. I'm doing good.
But I'm just gonna say we knew that we were mutually tired, and she was tired. She was going through things, the changes that come with separating and leaving someone, and then the filing, the paperwork, and all that stuff. But to still show up for yourself in your business, like, it speaks volumes, and it's what separates you from a lot of people in this world, because a lot of people listen to those intrusive thoughts that tell them that you should stop. It's not that important. Just let it go. But you still showed up every single time. And I really do appreciate and respect that. So thank
Thank
you.
you. No, I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I'll cry on Sunday. Don't worry.
Okay. What about you, Raven? Do you have any last thoughts before you move into like your brand?
Sure. So I guess my final points would just be reiterating the standing on business when it comes to your boundaries and standards. Don't be flexible or too much of a people pleaser to accommodate someone else's needs and neglect your own in the process. And then also just not only accepting and becoming comfortable with rejection, but also like embracing it and turning it into a positive, not letting it get you down or slow down your dating journey or dating process.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And as for my business, I've kind of taken a pause on Raven Rights just for the holidays, but I'm going to be back at it next week. So I'll have some new stuff, new posts and stories coming out. I've been collaborating with different artists and businesses and kind of getting some stuff together. So just stay tuned for that. And then I've also been promoting my new book a lot. So just going to a lot of poetry events and open mics and trying to get into festivals and all that kind of stuff to get that more out there. One of my goals for this year is to get it in at least one bookstore, hopefully, fingers crossed. So, yeah, just it's been nonstop. I've been trying to juggle multiple things. It's my website, my newsletter, and the book, but oh, and also video content and reels and kind of ramping that up too.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot to juggle as a business owner because you're like trying to produce the art,
Mm-hmm.
make sure that it's refined, show it to the people, get back to the people, answer questions for the people. There's just it's so much that goes behind that. So, congratulations on your book. I am really happy to hear
Thank
that you.
you.
Yeah, yeah, congratulations.
Yeah,
And
I'm looking forward to Sunday.
yes, me too. You're more than welcome to bring if you have cards, if you have flyers, anything that you want to share about your book and stuff. Because I think the ladies, they would love to see that. It's all about empowerment. So I really am looking forward to that too. Because we have to do more to support the women in our community and uplift them for all that we do.
Hmm.
We carry on so much weight for so many people around us, and depending on how you were raised, it's just embedded in you. And I won't say if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I will say that I want to be a part of the solution, not the problem. So that's what the Sunday is about. So yeah. But congratulations. Yeah. Let's
But
see.
this was a great topic and episode. I'm
Ew.
really glad you got this together.
Thank you. I am too. I feel like we definitely were able to release some things. I talked about some stuff I wasn't even planning to talk about. I'm like a little off script, crashing out over here, but hopefully they get it. But it's needed. Like we definitely there's so many things that we just I was talking about this earlier, but as women, it's normal for us and it shouldn't be normal. Like I'm not even gonna say in a perfect world, like it just shouldn't be normal. It shouldn't be normal that on a date I have to ask myself, you know, are you gonna try to like snatch my wig off if I tell you no, I don't want to go home with you, or are you gonna it shouldn't be normal that I have to call my friends say, hey, I made it home safely after going out to meet with somebody. It
Yeah.
shouldn't be normal that we experience so many different emotional changes in different stages of our life, but we just operate as if it's not happening. I mean, I think it's beautiful we have that strength as women, but it's also okay to acknowledge that there's a softness and a vulnerability that needs to be protected as women. And we sometimes just push it to the side because it's like, I just got to make stuff happen. So
Mhm.
I really want to open up more conversations like this. This is our first and only romantic podcast for the year, but I am thinking in the next year we will bring a part two so we can come back and expand on this. And in our future ones, we'll still be talking about relationships, like how to build better friendships, how to build better business peer relationships, things we've all learned. Because you might hear something that hits home in a good way or in a dang, I might need to work on that way. But that's what it's about, bringing wisdom to the community. So I'm glad you liked it. A lot of changes going on for Boss Bay Blog right now. We just recently started our promo where if you decide to become a member of our directory, you can get a free website. If you are a collaboration partner, You can still take advantage of the promo. There will be a change though in the pricing. If you're already a member of the directory and you signed up through a collab, you can still reach out and find out if you're interested in the website thing. Also, we did change our memberships. We restructured them for a few reasons. I wanted to create one where people don't have to keep renewing. And also, I wanted to give them like the ultimate package, like the social media marketing, the coaching, the unlimited events, the private Boss Babe blog vault, all those things. But most importantly, I would say what I'm focused on this year is really making it clear that you can achieve your dreams with your business, and your dreams don't have to look like everybody else's. That's my main focus right now with Boss Babe Blog. So if you're someone that needs support and you're ready to grow and elevate, if you use the resources, if you try out the events, if you try out all of the different tools that we have available, you will see growth in your business. It won't be the same by the time you end at our directory, and you're going to want to renew. But I just want to let everybody know that it's out there. It feels like it's not, and it can feel lonely, like, I'm just in this hole of doing it all by myself. But they're out here. The resources are here. The clients, the leads, the partners, the stuff that can take your business to that next level. It's all there. And don't let your intrusive thoughts make you think that it's not there. That's what's really important. I got to get across, because we're preserving culture as small business owners. There's a lot of corporations. There's not a lot of yous. There's only one of you. And I want to keep preserving that and keep going. And I know we need sales and growth to do that, but we just got to be a little bit more aggressive with our dreams and know what we deserve. And it starts off with the people you let in your life and the relationships that you have. And once you learn how to get the best out of those romantic partnerships, friendships, business peers, you can elevate and get to the next level. So that's essentially what our focus and our topic will be. But thank you, ladies, so much for joining us. You can check out ravenwritesdfw.com, correct?
Yes.
And bellaboutique.com as well. You can also go to bossbabeblog.com if you would like to check out some of the solutions that we all provide. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And feel free to share your opinion on this topic. What are some tips that you have to help people have more enriching romantic experiences, whether they're dating temporarily, whether they're dating to marry, or whether they're already dating, already married. But thank you all so much for watching the Boss Babe Blog podcast, and we will see you guys next month on Friday. It'll be the first Friday of every month, 7 p.m. Central Time. Bye-bye.
Bye.